Weather has a tendency to be unpredictable. One day it can be nice and sunny, and the next day it can be a horrific storm ravaging the land, ripping apart houses. For our project, we were assigned blizzard. Not exactly something we have to worry about in Texas, but it is something that you need to know how to survive if you're planning on leaving the state, or if some freak accident occurs and, technology advances to where you can create a blizzard in Texas. The best thing to do to prepare for a blizzard is to get supplies. You have to be able to live in your house, not do anything, but be stuck in your house because you will get snowed in. Entertainment. Very often overlooked when you're preparing for emergency. Usually it's food, water, emergency bathroom supplies, medication. While all those are important, entertainment could be what makes or breaks your sanity in this situation. If you have small children, they're not going to have their iPad touches or their cell phones. They're not going to have any signal. They're not going to have anything to do. They're going to be bored. And when children get bored, they get irritated. Make sure you have board games, plenty of fire starters so you can get candles, cards. A deck of cards can be entertaining for hours if you know how to do it right. Instruments are always welcome. Always have instruments in a situation like that. It's easily overlooked, and in a blizzard, you're going to get snowed in and you're going to be bored. Another really important thing is medication and paperwork. You do not want to be caught in a situation where after the event is over and done with, you don't have medications. Say your grandmother has high blood pressure and she's stuck with you while you're snowed in. If you don't have medications to help her, you could become in a dire situation very rapidly and unable to contact help. The last thing on my 3 items, pet first aid. If you have pets, they can get injured just like we can, but they're a little bit different. If a person gets injured, you slap a Band-Aid on and they're fine. You can't put a Band-Aid on an animal because they'll rip it right off. You're going to need to have plenty of gauze, hydrogen peroxide, and of course, finally, you're going to need felt. Now this seems like a strange thing, but it is a blizzard and you're going to need to keep warm. Cats especially have a tendency to lose body heat rapidly. Have lots of blankets, lots of felt, and keep it in a box. If you get a fireproof safe, they weigh about 40-50 pounds. You can put all your papers, all your medication, and a few blankets and some medicines in there. This will easily ensure your safety as well as your pets. These are just 3 of the many steps you take in preparing for a blizzard.
In the case of a blizzard, ensure you stock, or at the very least prepare minimally for other basic necessities such as water and in varying quantities of non-perishable food items, depending on the size of the living accommodations and amount of people you have living with you. Other items of value are up to interpretation depending on the severity of the situation. So whether you have lots of available time before the storm or it's a close call situation, ensure at the very least there is a baseline organization and availability to your supplies for your pets, so warm blankets and medications if your animals require it. If you happen to live in a state or residence where piping or your water lines are not very well insulated, if at all, ensure you can keep the water running, albeit at a very small amount, and periodically flush the toilets if necessary. Just don't go do something that might have your water lines later to be non-functional or backed up, lest you have a death wish.
Dude, seriously?
In case of personal hygiene and care in a time of blizzard, ensure that you use available supplies sparingly, and if necessary, improvise in case of desperation. How so? I'm not sure. In case of unforeseen events, discount something like that.
When it comes to blizzards, you need to make sure you have plenty of food and water on hand. As far as food goes, you need plenty of food that won't spoil or keep, even in the harshest conditions. Rice and couscous are especially good with this. Not only do they stay relatively fresh, but they're also extremely nutritious and keep you from getting hungry. As far as water goes, you need to make sure you keep your water in barrels that can retain heat. That way they don't freeze over and you can retain your body heat while using water and stay hydrated. The most important thing when it comes to blizzards is keeping warm. One of the best methods of keeping warm is to use fleece. Fleece blankets are incredibly warm and keep you sane during even the coldest blizzards. These are relatively cheap to acquire and can be bought for not too much money at all. One of the most vital things to remember when there's a blizzard outside is to stay warm. Please